that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like...
What's going on, family? And welcome back to Shifting the Culture podcast. I'm your host, Brother King Cam. And welcome back to part 3 of our Closing the Wealth Gap series. So if you have been here for parts 1 and 2, and you know our brother Johnny Stewart of Black Unicorn Factory has been blessing us with so many gems on the new way of investing. The new way of investing, and you being able to utilize your social media followers in order to do so, and teach you another way to be able to monetize through the law, and how we can create new billionaires and millionaires through something called IPOs. So you got to go back and watch the first 2 episodes to catch all of that information. But tonight we're going to be talking about going from influencer to billionaire. Influencer to billionaire. So what I want everybody to do, I need the Facebook family to tune in, and I need you to comment, and I need you to share. I need my YouTube family. I need you to share. I need you to smash that like button. Smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you can stay notified each and every time that we drop a video, as well as make sure that you comment and get this engagement up. I need everybody in the comment section to comment your city and state. Let me know where you tuning in from, where you checking in from tonight. Okay, and then shout out to the Twitter family. I need you to retweet. So I'm going to bring Brother Johnny in. I need to put my headphones on. And I'm going to bring Brother Johnny in. And then, we're going to go ahead and kick this conversation off tonight. So without any further ado, for those who may not know, okay, hold on. Let me do this real quick because I want to. This is number 3. But we may have some new people in here tonight. And we want to make sure that we give them and give Brother Johnny, the proper introduction that is necessary. All right, so we want to make sure that we introduce him to the family, because we may have some new people in here tonight who wasn't able to tap in for the last 2 episodes. So they may not know who our brother is. But he's a visionary entrepreneur, groundbreaking innovator, and a pioneer redefining the landscape for minority-owned businesses on Wall Street. Okay? Johnny Stewart is a name synonymous with innovation, especially when it comes to creating new opportunities for African-American business in the tech and investment sectors. He is the creator of the term Black Unicorn. And I want you all tonight, when you get some time, to go and actually look up the term unicorn, because they use that term in business a lot when it comes to different new innovative businesses in the tech industry. So that's very key. Okay, so Black Unicorn is a special meaning to that, which he defines as a African-American billion-dollar tech company, a title that his own venture, Black Unicorn Factory, proudly wears. All right, so Brother Johnny's work and the success of Black Unicorn Factory have been recognized widely in the media. The company has been featured in numerous prestigious publications, including Pitch Book, Investopedia, Bloomberg, CB Insights, Crunchbase, and many more. Family, what I want you to do is give our brother a warm black hand of applause and bringing him to the stage, brother Johnny Stewart, family.
Well, good evening, everyone. This
Did
is
I do a good
Brother
job,
Stewart,
brother?
Johnny Stewart. Yes, thank you very much. I really appreciate the introduction,
Yes,
and
sir.
thank you again for allowing me to be on a guest on your show tonight. I hope that I entertain as well as engage your audience because we got a lot of information I like to cover, so we probably need to get right to it, and I need to bring them in on what the subject matter tonight is.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So we want to just pick up where we left off from last week.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We
The
want to pick up where we left off.
tonight's yes, tonight's subject matter is dealing with building of companies, but in a different way. I know a lot of people tell you about building credit, but the others teach building businesses. But we're going to build businesses tonight in a different way, reusing and repurposing another asset that's overlooked, and that's social media fans. I know that social media right now and Wall Street, because of the new Jobs Act, can come together and form a whole new engagement between social media followers and businesses going public. That will change financially the followers. As many people don't realize, a lot of social media followers around the world are not financially doing well. They watch a lot
You
of
mean
influencers and
influences?
content, yeah, the influencers and
Yes,
content
sir.
creators, and they kind of covet their lifestyle. They love the way they live, their clothes, their vacations, their homes, their lifestyle, and they like to be like that one day, but they can't share in what is taking place in front of them. Now, because the influencer, the content creator, and the crowd can now collaborate and unite through becoming what is called an influencer corporation, where we're
Mhm.
taking a corporation and an influencer and bringing that together, allowing the fan base or the members to be a part of that. And that's what we're going to discuss tonight. What happens when you convert your fan base into shareholders? Now, this is actually something that's never actually been done in this way because typically when you invest in a company, it does require cash capital. Cash capital investing is the number one form of investing.
Right.
But
Which
they
is
didn't
what we've
realize
been
that
taught.
yes, within the rules of the SEC, all through the rules of SEC, that didn't ne- it never said there was one way to invest. It said two ways. One way to invest was cash. The other way was other consideration. Other consideration is anything that the issuer, which is the person passing out the stock, is willing to accept. In this particular case, doing something you're already doing. If we're turning you're following someone on social media into a task. So now that the following on social media has become a task, you can actually exchange that task in exchange for equity. We
Mhm.
created a term that the SEC had never heard before, and it's called task-based investing. And otherwise, you can look in Webster's dictionary, and sometimes it's referred to as sweat equity. Sweat equity, means that the person will work for a share of stock in lieu of paying cash. But in this particular case, we're saying that the task is following on social media. And one is you're already following on social media. Most social media fans and followers, they're different. Fans are different from followers, and I'll explain that a little bit. But a fan doesn't receive any compensation for being loyal. And loyalty is the premise of all businesses. We all want loyal customers. But in this particular case, most social media followers are not compensated, which we know, for actually being a follower and being a faithful follower. Sometimes they get free merchandise, trinkets and things like that, cheap prizes and things. But
Yes,
we're
sir.
talking about tonight actually being a follower and being compensated for being a follower. Imagine that. The average social media follower is following 47 different people on social media.
Mm.
If he were to receive some form of compensation from all of them, on a consistent basis, I'm not just talking about a one time thing, but consistently, a lot of his money problems he wouldn't have. But because influencers have no idea of how can I really compensate my followers, and how can my followers actually help the brand and help our create more content. This is what we want to discuss tonight: the unification of social media followers and fans, and the influencer and the brand into one unit and one company that is capable of doing many things. So I want to discuss more about that tonight.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So let's get right into it, because that was one of the things that you talked to me about was the social media influence, and being able to translate those followers into investors. People who have equity in the brand, and I think I was talking to you about what that business model. I was watching a 60-minute special, and they was talking about how they gave the employees got a lot of equity, and the approach was, the more equity that the employees have in the company, then the harder they'll work, because this is now a part of them. It's their company. They have stake in this company, so it's not
Yes,
just
that's
an
correct.
employer that's giving them a paycheck, but it's bigger than that. So now,
Mhm.
taking that same model and allowing people to have a vested interest in your brand online, now how does
Mhm.
that translate into IPO? How does that translate
Mhm.
into what we are learning now, fan investing?
Well, yes, let me explain. Here's the thing: a person that has cash in his hand who wants to buy a share of stock from you, he can buy share of stock from your company, and that makes him a shareholder. Well, let's say another person says, well, I don't have any cash, but I'd like to invest. Well, the rules of investing say other consideration. And that means
Right.
that that person can provide something other than money. And that's one of my books called OTM, Other Than Money. But
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
I want to go on and say that that person that provides a service in exchange for cash or sweat equity, it is referred to in dictionary terms, that person is just as equal a shareholder as the person that paid for cash. So the SEC and all the rules of investing say one might have paid cash, one might have actually worked for it, but they're both shareholders. Now, what we've done is we said, well, what if a million people with $100 comes and gives it to you? That's $100 million, right? Well, if a million people who all gave you a commitment to work or to do a task, that would be considered the same as the $100 cash sale. The SEC says a sale does not just mean just cash only. A sale also means other consideration. So therefore, you can actually achieve the same exact valuation as a cash valuation. Like they can put in
Mm,
$100 million in cash, we can bring in a million people and achieve the same valuation as them. So
wow.
therefore, like I said, with a crowd is actually being repurposed. There are many beautiful things that, as you mentioned, that will come as a result of the crowd becoming a part of the brand. One is people have a sense of responsibility to a brand once they have a share in it. You see, people, they support you and they do the best they can sometime for you. But really, people are really saying deep down, what's in it for me? You're rich and you got a nice home and nice car, family on vacations and all those nice clothes, but they're not sharing in that. We're
Right.
talking about real fan appreciation today. I'm talking about allowing the fan base to actually join you in wealth building and improving your life financially. See, I believe in what a win-win relationships where both parties win. Right now, the influencer wins financially, and basically the followers and fans, they don't. They just get to follow and watch and drool over you. See, in my opinion, I believe that one person gets paid and the other person's getting played, and that I don't believe that that's fair. You understand me? I believe that in both cases, that both if both parties could both win and but could both financially benefit, you'll turn around and create an entirely different business. Also, I want to point out there's something about the behavior of the crowd. The behavior of the crowd is very different when a fan base becomes a part of a brand. And what happens if they become a little bit emotionally, they're emotionally invested.
Right.
And that's what you really want in any brand, is to be emotionally invested before you actually become financially invested. But let me give you an example. Beyonce has a group of people, they call it the Bayhive, right?
Right.
And
The
if you
beehive. The
attack
beehive.
her beehive or whatever,
Yes, sir.
then they attack you. And most people are not aware that you cannot have thousands or millions of people writing bad reviews about you and stay in business, because endorsers want to distance themselves from anyone that's got bad reputation or
Absolutely.
anything that's happening bad.
Right.
That's what happened with Johnny Depp when he was with the Disney. He was accused of domestic violence. He was found innocent, but during the trial, Disney had dropped him already. He's like,
Right.
wait a
They
minute,
do it
I didn't
quick.
even turn around and say nothing.
Yeah, they do
What
it
ended up
quick.
happening was they want to distance themselves from bad news. And so what happens whenever you have a crowd of loyal people, they are very protective. So when you begin to say things that are negative about the brand, you have to deal with them. And they can go on a tirade of writing bad chats and bad reviews and bad ratings to the degree that it could actually legitimately put businesses out of business. So you have to just remember, the crowd is not just a mechanism to build up the value of a company by investing, but they also can become protective. The other benefit is about a crowd is nobody really looked at this, that a crowd that you can control is a very, very valuable thing. Because what we have found, which we have about 25 different ways to make revenue, 25 ways of making revenue from a crowd can produce so much revenue on a daily basis from small tasks that you give them, that it can actually outproduce almost 95% of those businesses out there today that generate cash and capital. They have no idea that in addition to this fan base creating you a very valuable company, it actually also create a company that's very profitable too. And it has so many uses. The crowd becomes a tool that can be used in so many different ways to make revenue. But the problem we're having with the influencer is that he has blinders on. He only sees them as patrons, customers, users. He doesn't see them as partners. And that's the problem. When we take the blinders off so that you can see that this is a dynamic army of marketing, a marketing army that is beyond any form of marketing, cannot compete. Because why? Word of mouth, from what I was told, and it still is true, is the best form of advertising.
That's
And
right.
another reason that is great is because if enough people say it, it's so. Did you know that?
That's
That
right.
if a million people right now tune in and said, this is the greatest show on the internet, guess what? Tomorrow morning, it is so. Because a million people can't be wrong. And that's one of the things about that can be said. In social media, if you say it enough, it's true. The thing is that the crowd, people today, 89% of people today, what they do is before they make a purchase, they will turn around and ask, to get a review on a product or on something before so, you'll find a lot of people sometime after, when they go to get ready to buy something and they look up a review, if the thing has a bad review, they don't even make the purchase. They change their mind right then. So you see that almost 89% of users actually go off of word of mouth. Well, your crowd becomes word of mouth. And when they post and repost and post and repost about the beautiful things that the brand has to offer, and that goes out to a large amount of people, that's what changes people's you have a lot of ratings, a lot of reviews about you. A lot of people will want to do business with you. So that's one thing that the crowd can also do. The crowd has so many different uses, not only that it can protect, not only can it provide revenue, it can add value, things like that, but they can also, like I said, innovate the business as well. That they have ways of making suggestions, or to people know people, so therefore they can offer you resources such as connections and people that they know. Your crowd can do that, which could actually completely innovate you as a business. So I'm just saying that just we want to just explore all the different things that a crowd could possibly do in it when they become shareholders. We're not talking about people that just come in and get shares and just sit around and things like that. they come in to get down. And what does man say? They come in to get involved in the business's growth. And that's what you want. You want shareholders that are passionate about the growth of the business. And this is first time in history that ordinary people are able to invest in pre-IPOs. Remember, as we said in our prior podcast, you were not able until President Obama passed the Jobs Act. You were not able legally to invest in private companies prior to pre-IPO companies. So this
Right.
allowed you to be a part of innovation, innovative companies, be able to make many times over what the stock market people and people that do the stock market trading are able to make. Pre-IPO, as I mentioned last week, is one of the most lucrative forms of investing there is in the world. But also, it is one of the things that has made Wall Street has made more millionaires and more billionaires than any investment vehicle in the world over time. You'll find that every single person, almost 97% of all billionaires and millionaires out there have something to do with stock. Believe me, a piece
Mm,
of paper. And
mm,
it's time for us to we have to kind of retrain our people and our community because we are too focused on labor instead of that paper. And you have to remember in this new era, wealth is paper. I'm sorry, the days of agricultural and all that, of gold and oil and silver and all those things, that's gone. You're in a totally new era of wealth building today. And so we want to introduce them to investing and do it in this most simplistic way. Social media is something that everyone, even small children, understand. You know, they can understand how to become a follower and a part of someone's audience. That's very easy. But now that following has become a form of investing, can you imagine? We wanted
mm.
investing, we wanted investing to be something that was simple and easy and affordable. Simple, easy, and affordable. And that's what it's become because this new strategy of fan investing has allowed you to do something that's simple. You already know how to do social media. It becomes affordable because there's no cost to it at all. So therefore, even the person that has that's a little apprehensive, we have completely de-risked the whole investment strategy. Now it doesn't cost you anything at all. You can't lose a dime if you never put in a dime. So
Mm.
therefore, that's the question that we have tonight. We want people to know there's a new way to invest, doing something you already know how to do, and be compensated. Yes, brother
Yes,
Cam.
sir. Yes, sir. And what I'm hearing is we actually able to monetize sweat equity now
Yeah,
because we've always heard about sweat equity in business where one person may not have the financial resources but they are willing to put in the work, they're willing to put in the time, aka the sweat, and that would give them some value, some stake in the company. Now what you're saying is via the stock market and via 2012 Jobs Act, it has now given us the opportunity to monetize that sweat equity through crowds. Those people who have the ability to access a crowd or a network via social media or other means, and now you can take that to a pre-IPO status, and now you're able to obtain the access to wealth that Wall Street has and has kept us locked out of for many years. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Okay, yes,
And I,
sir.
I would like to explain a little bit more. The the influencers, which are businesses themselves, and also other small businesses, have no idea how easy it is to raise capital when you're on the stock market. You see that there's certain things right in front of you that a lot of people don't pay attention to. They're mostly focused on traditional, like we talked about last week, traditional means.
Right.
But let me give an example of something, and I mean I'd like some feedback on this.
Yes, sir.
Have you noticed in a barbershop, in our community, there's barbershops and they rent out booths in the barbershop, and
Yes.
that's how they pay for the rent and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But have you noticed that there are others who have shops in the hundreds, in the thousands, and not one single booth is being rented? You ever
Mm.
notice? How can they be open in so many different stores and never rent out a booth to pay the rent? Because they're tapped into something that has a steady stream of cash flow. See, when you get into the stock market is going to, and that's where we're trying to take you. We're trying to create to help you to understand there's a way to become a business that can make it to the stock market. But once you plug in and your company is in there, most don't realize borrowing from the stock market is much easier than going to the bank. The reason why is when you compare, and a person asked me, why should I go public versus go to the bank? I said, okay, I'll give you a few reasons. One is the bank is going to do a credit check, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
I said, but Wall Street doesn't. The bank is going to do what? Ask for a down payment?
Yes, they are.
Wall Street, no. The bank is going to ask for, like I said, collateral. Wall Street doesn't. That Wall Street, many of these people are going to, banks are going to ask you for monthly payments.
Right.
Well, Wall Street doesn't. The thing that you'll find out is that when I give you 10 different things to help you understand the path of least resistance, because they're going to ask you to personally guarantee loans, but Wall
Yes.
Street doesn't. You have to just imagine between credit checks, down
Down
payments,
payments and personal
collateral,
guarantees.
personal guarantees, monthly payments, net worth requirements, limitations, because they do have limitations that they can give to you. Most banks right now will give you just enough money to fail, right? And then they also have discrimination, which we've experienced so many times over. And so when you get to the point where your business is in an area where people want to put money into you, see, that's what we don't understand. There are people in the stock market who have a rule of thumb. We want to invest in anything that we can pull our money in and pull our money out of. See, that's the thing that even Warren Buffett said. I will not invest in any company that I can't pull my money out of.
Right.
So that's why it's important to go public. There are over 19, I believe it said it's over $19 trillion in Wall Street. And all that money that's circulating wants to go in companies. It's waiting. All you got to do is get there. Once you tap into there, when one investor sells the stock out, another one replaces it. So you're tapped into a steady flow where you can borrow against the equity in your company. And
Mm.
that's why like I said, we are trying to explain how do you go from one or two or three barbershops to 1,600 barbershops? Well, you have to go to Wall Street. I remember just a few years ago, there was a young woman, and she opened up her first shop. It was called Dry Bar. She opened up one shop. All it did was just, wash people's hair. She just washed people's hair. She don't cut hair or anything. She just put a little shampoo, wash hair. Well, it worked. The idea worked. Women love to come in and get their hair, shampooed and things. But now today, 1,200 locations. Now, how do you go? Did you think that she was able to go to 1,200 locations off a booth rental? No,
No.
it's called Wall Street. If we want to be big companies, big thriving companies with hundreds of locations, we need to tap into Wall Street. And now, because of President Obama, he's eliminated so many restrictions, things that there were that would stop us in the past. Because to go public in the past, it would take hundreds, even millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars in fees. You had to have so many auditors and so many lawyers, and then you had investment bankers and all these other complex people that you had to pay. President Obama did you a great favor, a gift. He eliminated all of those. He eliminated the filing fees. He eliminated the auditors. He eliminated the underwriters. When I'm talking to some people today and I tell them about this new IPO process, they think, no, that's impossible. I said, yes. The entire stock market has just been reconstructed for you. And why would I say for you? Because in the seventh part of the Jobs Act, the
I knew we
last and
was getting
final
there.
chapter of the law, it
Uh-huh.
said, tell
Tell
minorities of the
my
changes
people.
in law. You see, the thing is, somebody's trying to look out for you. Like there's a song that says looking for love. Well, the thing is, your love is what he did for you. This was a gift that an unintended consequence that some of us are not aware of, that a president, before going out of office, would give you a gift that would give you wealth that you've never seen in any age throughout the United States' history. There's even scripture that says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. Well,
That's
yeah, I
right.
don't know if you guys can believe that, but that's true. That's not just a statement or cliche. That's true. And that can actually take place if you just change the rules of law. So, and the rules of law have changed. This new law is going to allow so many different companies to become public companies and become big companies. We're going to be able to take the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle type companies
Yeah.
and other companies that are small and make them nationwide franchises or nationwide companies, just like they did In-N-Out Burger and Starbucks, which have thousands of locations. Those locations do not grow off of, like I said, booth rentals and whatever things like that.
Right.
That's
Right. Right.
investment money that comes from Wall Street.
And
They
I was
can't, as
wondering,
long as they're tapped into it.
and I'm
And
glad
I
you
want to
brought
get
that
them
up.
tapped into it.
Yes, sir. And
Mhm.
I'm glad you brought that up because when you read the history on Bojangles or you read the history on Chick-fil-A and you look at these companies and say, okay, Popeyes, how did they go from just one location and then to these hundreds of locations, 600 locations, 1,000 locations all across the country? The Marriott business, right? The Hiltons. How did they go and grow all of these locations all over the country? And you're saying it's because they went IPO, they went public, and they was able
Yeah.
to take the valuation and then reinvest that valuation into the business and being able to open up new locations.
Because the money is much easier than going to the bank. But we have been trained and taught, go to the bank. When actually the
Ah,
bank is the easiest money. The bank's money and Wall Street's money is just as green as one another, but one is easier to get. See, while others were telling you go to the bank and build your credit and go to the bank, other people and their community was told build businesses and go to Wall Street. You see, and that's the reason why one group is actually more wealthier than another group. So
ah,
while, in today's times, you're in a different era right now. You're going up against one of the most formidable opponents ever, and that's Amazon. Amazon right now intends to take every mom and pop shop there is and take them out of business. They intend to absorb you into their network because that's the future. I mean, like you say, if you can't beat them, defeat them. But the thing is, they intend to take the Black community and other communities of color, and they intend to have you to take all of your products and things like that and send them all to Amazon and let Amazon market them for you and send you the profits after one is sold, and they'll get a cut, of course.
of
But
course.
what happens in this case is your identity as a community of business people is gone. All they want to absorb is your products, your services into their network, and your identity is gone. And so you have right now, you can go look it up yourself. It's called Amazon Black. And what is Amazon Black trying to do? I'm trying to absorb all those that are minority businesses into our network. And remember, the name of your business is going to be gone, but your product will live on. But this is how they can eliminate you from being a competitor. It's bad enough, like I said, that we have AI to the right of us and it's taking jobs. Now we got Amazon to the left of us and it's absorbing businesses. Brother King Cam, I tears almost come to my eyes when I go to these events and I see all these tents and tables and all those wares that people are selling because I see small business. In today's time, you cannot be a small business anymore. Like they say in Texas, go big or go home. Right now, you either go big or go broke. You have
Right.
no choice in the matter. You have no choice in this matter. You must be big from inception. You have to think big from day one. That's
Yes,
I
sir.
don't.
So let me ask you this because yeah, some couple people
Yeah,
in the comment section was asking about Damon John's book about the 1000x investment strategy. What is the
yeah.
name of that book? I think I got the picture of it still.
Yeah, you have the picture on it. Yes, that's what he called it, the 1000X formula. If they like a copy of it, just have them email info@blackunicornfactory.com and I can send you a PDF copy of it. He didn't sell it. He actually was giving the book away. But that was one of the things that would really enlighten our community is to know that that type of profits are available. Like I said, there's other things that hurt my feelings because I went to Invest Fest and I got a chance to, and he attended Invest Fest, but he didn't bring that up. And
Ah,
we were at an investment event, and I kind of was excited. I said, "Oh wow, he's going to talk about 1000x," but he didn't. He talked about his 30-year career, and I
right.
really think that the audience would have really enjoyed knowing how to invest and get 1,000 times or 100,000% on their money. I really think so. But But overall, where we're going from this point is how to get to the proverbial promised land. And how we're going to get there is we're going to have a new leader to take us there. And we're going to have a new strategy. And that's where we're going right now. Um, we're trying to get, trying to utilize this new law to take companies public. But you have to remember, taking companies public, Brother King, is not for the faint of heart. It's not for people with small ideas. If you want to just have one small business that does, a business on the corner of Maple and Spring Street, I'm sorry, this is not for you. If you're a person that has an idea that could be sold nationwide, then that's the ideas that you want to take public. We have so many beautiful ideas and so many beautiful brands that could be sold on a nationwide basis, but we're dependent so heavily upon venture capital companies and banks to give us the capital we need to do it. And it's there. If unfortunately, 80% of all businesses, Brother King, is out there that are out there are actually started by investor capital. It's not by banks. Banks don't finance all these businesses. These are investors. And all these chains that you see all across the nation, that's investor money, not bank money. So you have to realize that one is they don't give to us like they do others. Like I said, only 1% of all venture capital is given to our community. And the banks is the same thing. They're slightly above 1%. So here's the question. Where do you go when banks and investors say no? Well, I know where you go. You go IPO. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take every company that we can, and we're going to use President Obama's program to take you public. And by taking you public, we're going to create more nationwide franchises and nationwide businesses than has ever been done before. And in the process of taking companies public, we're going to create generational wealth. You see, you might be thinking that, Brother Stewart here is talking about taking companies public, right?
Yes, sir.
And having a lot of capital and starting these big businesses. But you don't realize if you build $1 billion business, well, you're kind of made yourself rich too. So because you have a percentage of ownership. So taking a company public is not just taking your company public and making it big and successful. Well, let me inform you of something. You've actually retired yourself. Because when you take a company public, most people are not aware, you become a multimillionaire, possibly a billionaire. But are
Yes,
you
sir.
ready to turn around and actually achieve a financial status and be able to do things on a large scale, a monetary scale? And at the same time, what type of person would you be if you didn't have to get up and go to work? What would you be doing? That's a gut check that most people don't understand. This is your retirement you're looking at. Going public, you're not only going to make a successful business, but you're going to retire yourself from ever having to work ever again in life. And then what are you going to do? That's a real gut check. You have to really check yourself. If you didn't have to get up every morning and go to work, what would you actually be doing? Well, most people doing what they love. And maybe
Right,
what
right.
you're doing is what you love. But just understand, taking a company public is going to create generational wealth. You're going to create, by taking a company public, money that your great great grandchildren are going to be spending. And it's different. And today, I've had someone in my class, Brother King, that said, "Why should we really? What's the Why should I go public?" Basically, it was a question, simple question as that. Seems hard, but simple. I said, "Well, if you really need a reason to go public, I'll give it to you. Your great grandchildren. You see, when you take a company public, it's not just going to touch your children, but it's going to touch your grandchildren. There's so much wealth that'll be gained. That legacy, this is a legacy move. When I have a lot of women in our class, and they're a little different. They're not just a little, they're a lot different in terms of
Yes, sir.
how they take in what I'm discussing. When you talk about their grandbabies, you see a whole different look on their face. They have a whole different look on their face, because if anybody is serious about their lineage, they are very. So when they ask me, why should we go public? Do it for your grandbabies. That's what. If you
Mm.
need a good reason, then there you go. Do it for your children. so that they one day will have a picture of you and say, my granddaddy, my grandmama did this. And that's why we have such a beautiful, wonderful life today. So it's not, many times, Brother King, it's not about what you do in business, it's why you do it. And
Right.
one of the things I want people to understand is why. Why should I go public? Because I need to change the trajectory of my family. You see, as it says, even in the scriptures, when they talked about Sarah, they said kings will come forth from her. Well, I want to say this about you, those that are out there considering going, taking their companies public, using their fans. Well, you might not have come from a rich family, but a rich family can come from you. And the thing is that one of the things about it, you now have a way to do that. There's no way to walk away from what you're hearing tonight and say that I don't know, I'm be confused. I'm telling you right now, you want to retire from struggling, do it. You want to do something for your children, do it. And the thing is that the resources are all around you. It is a resource that most people, they only see, like I said, fans in one mode. They're just customers. They're just audiences. But I'm telling you now to partner with your audience, partner with them, and do it forming a corporation, what we call an influencer corporation, and let your fans now become incorporated. That's
Yes, sir.
that's a funny thing because the word incorporate means to bring within. And so you're creating something that your crowd can become a part of. Once you guys come together, you're going to create a force that can be reckoned with.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's one of the things. But you're going to create a company of value and a company of revenue. I wanted to show a few examples so we can discuss, Brother King.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Definitely want to get to some of those examples now. So before we get into the examples, I wanted to put the book up of Damon John, the 1000x investing formula. Damon Jones. What? Hold on, Damon John. I can't say his name.
Damon John,
Damon John.
yes.
So yeah. So here's the book. This is what it looked like, and you have an opportunity to tap into this and learn some more information. You can also get the PDF. I know Brother Stewart can send out the PDF as well. So that's what the book looked like.
Yeah.
And then also I want to welcome all of the new people who are just joining us here at Shifting the Culture podcast tonight, closing the wealth gap part 3 in Black America with Johnny Stewart of the Black Unicorn Factory. So, man, we having this much needed discussion tonight, family. And I want to welcome all of our new listeners and viewers tapped in. Now, one person mentioned in the comment section, Brother Terrence Stevens, said that Eric Cantor is frequently mentioned as a key figure in introducing the Jobs Act to Congress. Okay.
That's
And
right.
then it says that the former vice chairman of NASDAQ testified before Congress and is sometimes referred to as the father of the Jobs Act. So just giving some more context to what Brother Johnny Stewart has been telling us about this Jobs Act and what it has actually done to open up revenue. So as you can see, family, at the top of the screen here, you can see the Black Unicorn QR code. Please hit that so that you can stay tapped into Black Unicorn Factory. And then that QR code would actually take you to Follow Me for Equity. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes. So it would take you
I
to Follow Me for Equity. Oh, go ahead, Brother John. You can explain it. You can explain it.
the uh, the purpose that we're talking here tonight is about investing, and investing is a way of making money. Sometime when you say, "Let's," I want to show you a way to make money. Money has two more than one. We think of money in one sense, but the rich think of money in another sense. But we are making money, as many of our community don't understand that stock is another form of money. We've been brought up on cash is money, but stock is money too. But it's a different type of money. It can change in value. See, a dollar is a dollar, and it's not going to change in value.
Yes, sir.
But a stock can be a dollar, and it can change into $5 the next day. But it can go up
Wow.
and down. But at the same time, it is a form of currency. Equity, which is stock is called, is and is used every day as a form of currency. We
Wow.
have to
Didn't even think
educate
about
our
it like that.
community to financially literate to understand that stock can be cashed and turned into cash. It
Mm.
can be cashed and turned into cash. I've had some people just say, well, I got some stock. What do I do with it? You can cash it. You can even borrow against it and use it as collateral. Or you can hold it and let it grow and more in value and cash it later. But when we're talking about a way to make money, making money doesn't mean just cash flow and money just coming in every month and cash flow. We're sometimes confused because when we say let's make money, we think cash flow is the only form of making money. When actually something growing in value is another way of making money. For instance, Jay-Z has a song, I think it's on an album called 444. And on his album, he's got a song called Story to OJ,
Right. Yes,
And on
sir.
the song, he says he bought a painting that went from 2 million to 4 million and from 4 million to 8 million. He said, I turned 2 into 4, 4 into 8. And one of the things about it that he's trying to explain to you is how that the painting made money. Because when something appreciates in value, that's actually another form of making money. So making cash and cash transactions, that's cash flow. But what we need to also understand is that there's something called capital gains. And capital gains, you add this to your financial vocabulary, it means that an asset or something that you have increased in value. And by something increasing in value, you made money. So it's just a point about trying to help our community understand when we say make money, it doesn't mean just cash flow, making cash transactions. A
Yes,
lot
sir.
of people want to make money, and I get it. I'm not really trying to bring you to Black Unicorn to make some money. I want to make rich. See, the thing is, if you want to make money, you need to get a job. But if you want to make rich, you got to invest.
Yes,
It's
sir.
just simple.
Yes, sir.
Because those who invest, that's what they get. It's very, very hard to work labor jobs and become rich. It takes a long time, lots of labor.
Yes,
But if
sir.
you invest, you can actually do it much easier and a lot less stress.
And that was one of
And
the
that's
things
what we
that we
endeavor
was
to do.
talking about last time about the speed. This allows you to cover the speed and actually catch up and be able to close that wealth gap. So what we
Yeah.
have, because I know we want to get to some of the examples. So I also have up here on the screen is the Forbes list, the 400 book, or the book of 400, the Forbes
Mhm.
400 book, tales of the richest people in America since 1982. And it is featuring Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Oprah Winfrey. So I'm gonna make that a little bit bigger so that our viewers can see that. Okay, so they have this here. So I'm posting stuff on the screen for you, Johnny, and then you can help walk us through this. Then we can move into the next one that we have as well. For
Yes.
influencers.
At the Invest Fest this year, there was a gentleman who talked about venture capital investing. I'm not sure if you have that video, but I'd like to show it to him one day. And he made us a
Did you
comment
email
that
it? Did you email it to me?
I I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I did.
Okay,
I'm not
I'll
sure.
check. You can go
But one of
ahead.
the comments that he made, if you, I want you to see this, is on it's on Instagram. Is that he said, while we're focusing heavily upon interest rates and borrowing money, he said we need to focus on creating more millionaires and more billionaires. You see, when we have more people from our community that have the resources, the capital, then you're going to find that a lot of things that we've been dreaming to get and trying to get politicians to help us with, we won't have to go through all that. Because if you got the money, hey, you make the moves. And so that's why he suggested, yes, that we do have companies that go to Wall Street because we'll have the capital to make some of the things that and projects that we want to become, not just dreams, but reality. So that's just one of the things there. But in Forbes, as I just said, let's create more millionaires and more billionaires, but let's not use the venture capitalist money. It is a true fact, and I can say this without any skepticism, that the venture capital community is dominated by white rich men. That's just what it is.
Right,
That's the truth.
right.
These men, at the same time, as the man that said at the Invest Fest, he said that their money comes with bias. Their money is earmarked for their community. You're not
That's
a
right.
part of their community. It's all about relationship. And what I really call it is a good old boy network, really. But in essence, because we're ostracized and discriminated against financially, because they don't prefer to make you a $1 billion business. Therefore, like I said, we have to figure an alternative. Now you have an alternative in front of you. It's utilizing your fan base. But I'm basically trying to say right now, Brother King, is that you can actually take your fan base and become a billionaire just like the cash billionaires. You came by a totally different, unorthodox, strategy, but it achieved the same outcome. Same
Mm.
outcome
Yes, sir.
as before. So they are cash based investing billionaires and millionaires. You're going to be task based. You see, task based billionaires and millionaires. Social media billionaires are going to be the next wave of billionaires to come. And so they can go from, well, you'll show them in just a minute about Fansworth. They're going
Right.
to go from Fansworth to Forbes. We need more billionaires. I think right now there are 610 billionaires in the United States, and there's only 9 black.
Wow. Man, that's powerful.
So,
That means
but that's
that
about to change.
shows you,
That's
but
about to change.
that shows you that gap, that we've been talking about, that wealth gap in Black America, and how, they keep talking about, well, we got to close the wealth gap. We got to close the wealth gap. Well, as we mentioned last week, buying a house not going to close the wealth gap. Getting a good job not going to close the wealth gap. Going to college not going to close the wealth gap, because it's huge. So you have to have something that's going to close the distance on that. So,
Yeah.
Brother Johnny, all right, what you want me to bring up next? I got that Vimeo video for
Which one?
Black. I got the
Oh,
Vimeo video about Black Unicorn, and then of course
no,
we
not
got
that
the
big.
Fansworth. We got all of the
Still
Fansworth.
working on that one.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
yeah, and then we have the Fansworth covers, social media billionaire.
Yes, I like the Fansworth covers. You can bring up any one of them. It
Any
doesn't
one
matter.
of them? Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So we'll
start with we'll start. You just take a choice, and we'll just discuss it from there. And I want you to bring up different ones, and I want to explain something.
okay, yes, sir. All right, so we're gonna go start with the first one right here, Eddie Griffin.
Yes. Now, today he's not in Forbes magazine, but if he were to convert his fan base, he would be. We need more of our people from our community to be in Forbes, but Forbes has a minimum. You must be at least $1.1 billion in net worth. And what we're doing is we're converting your fans. But not only are your fans just propelling you to a level of value that is very, very high, but also that what you're looking at is not really a magazine. The magazine is called Fansworth. You're actually looking at the front cover of a report. This was a report that when you read inside of our report, it actually breaks down, it breaks down and explains to you why this person's net worth is this high. And it also will explain in this report that it just looks like a magazine on the outside. It will explain the revenue that the crowd can generate once they become part of the brand. So they're not just something that increases a company's value, but they can create tremendous amounts of revenue as well. I want the influencers that are out there, both big and small, micro and macro. I want them to all understand that you have a bag. You have a bag, as they say, they're chasing the bag, but the bag's
Yeah.
been chasing you. The thing is, you have all these people that could make you richer than been beyond your wildest dream if you would just unite with them. So what we're doing is when we do these covers, they're just letting the influencer know the possibilities of the combination of them and their fan base. Let's take a look
Wow.
at some others.
Yes, sir. All right. Was you able to get the one with Brother Ben on it?
Yes, I think I sent it to you.
No, I got the other one. I
Oh,
got
not no,
I
no,
got
no. I just got it just now. I just got it. Yes.
Okay.
And I can send that over and give me just a few minutes. I'll send that over. But
Okay, that's
yes,
fine.
I got it. The
My good
one
brother
of the things I
RZA.
just want everyone to no, excuse me.
No, I said my good brother RZA Islam right here.
Yes. So Ben is we were able to take care of him as well.
Okay.
But we have yours truly
Yes, sir.
as well. So I'll send that over in just a moment.
Yes,
But
sir.
because they just came back with the report, so that's the reason why We have that, but I want for everyone to take a look and just understand that we have a lot of billionaires in our midst, that are right there in front of us every single day, and they don't know it. We need to actually help them to understand the wealth is there. It's all there. It's all there. Just convert your fan base. That's
Yes,
really
sir.
all,
Yes,
and
sir.
that's what we need there. So, but who else do you have on the screen for me?
Riza Islam.
Okay. Bring a Reza. And as I said, does Brother Reza know that he's a billionaire? I kind of doubt it. He may not know that all that he's actually towing around a multi-billion-dollar company, and that he himself is actually wealthy to the point where if he wanted to retire today, he could,
Mm,
because of the resource that he is not utilizing right now. So I want everyone to just take a look at it. This is what I'm saying is look at the possibilities. That's all we're talking about. The possibilities of what
wow.
could be if you just do something that's different. And I know this is an unorthodox way of achieving something, but sometimes you have to repurpose. That's my whole point. You have to repurpose things. You use the same thing, but in a different way. And that's what we're doing here. We're repurposing the fan base. We're repurposing them into something that can be used to make a lot of money and things like that. So that's really it. I just want them to be able to take a look at what is possible.
And
And
the
so I
analogy
think we
that
have
you had brought up.
brother X.
Yes.
Let me
Yeah,
see
if you can send that one over
brother X. I
too.
want to send that over to you, and so you can take a look there. If they only knew that tomorrow they could begin the process of creating wealth in a totally different way. And it's unorthodox, like I said, but take a look at it. It's never been done before because no one is really okay. I just sent that over. But
Okay.
I wanted you to for people to just know that you have the wealth that will last for generations. It's right there in front of you. That's all you have to do is just, like I said, allow us at Black Unicorn Factory to take you and incorporate you. And let's incorporate your fans and followers. And then let's train them how to turn around and make revenue for your company. And how did both of you, both the influencer and the followers, both will benefit in this area. So that's really just it. But we're going to create more billionaires and more millionaires from social media that are from our community than you've ever seen in the history of the United States. Most people can't wrap their minds around something like that, Brother King. They can't wrap their minds around seeing so many people from our community having wealth. They're so used to being on the bottom that they don't believe that it's possible that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. They think that that's only a cliche, but it is possible.
Talk
And
about that
sometimes
scripture.
a change, a change is a coming, and that change has already got legislation, and we have many people that are talking about. If you just look at it, there are many forums, expos, conferences, and things like that happening today that are discussing Black wealth and building wealth. Now you have one of the most dynamic ways that there ever existed in building wealth, and it's now as easy as downloading an app.
Yes, sir.
This is a phenomenon that is coming, and I don't mean to frighten anyone by saying this, but there's a new law, and I want you all to all look it up. It's called HR 2799. In HR 2799, which is now in front of the Senate Banking Committee, they're going to have to vote on it, and then after that, it goes to the president for signing and become law. So it's not law yet, but it's right on the doorsteps of becoming law. But I want you to notice something. Inside HR 2799, they put something called the Gig Workers Equity Compensation Act. Look at it. Gig Workers Equity Compensation Act. You know what they're
Mm.
saying? They're
What they
going to
say?
make it so that you can earn stock by doing various tasks. They're going to take everything that is out there being done as a gig worker, from Ubers to Lyfts to
Uh huh.
to you know to all these different things that people are doing, and it becomes another way of investing. Why is
Wow.
it that the government is about to do that? Create a way for people to invest because they found a lot of people struggling out there. A lot of
And they
people
have
living
to and they
paycheck to
have to get
paycheck.
the money back into the economy. So they have
Yes.
to make sure that the citizens have the money so that
Mhm.
they can consume. They need to
Yes.
empower the consumer. Wow,
Yes.
that's heavy right there.
So
And listen, I
the
got
one of the things. Mhm.
no, I
Okay,
was
go
gonna
right
say,
ahead.
and I got brother Ben X's report up here as well. So
Hmm. Wake him up and say, "Did you know that you were a billionaire? Like, did you
no,
know?"
I'm trying to wake them up to the new
Have that
reality.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to
When
wake them up to the
one
new
of the things
reality right now.
about people and their reality is sometimes your old reality will push against your new reality. Your old reality is saying that's really not possible. You're just an ordinary person. You'll never turn around and be that. Your new reality is saying, but what if? What if that's possible? What if a rich family would come from me? You know, why is it that it would be me instead of so many others? Well, I don't know. God does what he does, and for the reasons that he does it. So you'll have to pray and get your answer that way. But when you turn around and understand that this gift in the law that has been given to you, and it's about to be expanded, the Jobs Act, which we're talking about, they're about to supersize the Jobs Act. When
Wow.
you read HR 2799, you're going to see that they have 18 new laws that are coming up for the Jobs Act. And here's one of the things I want people to notice. President Obama passed the Jobs Act, and President Biden, Vice President Biden at that time, was his vice president. He
Right.
then became President Biden, which is today. Now, here, of course, you got Kamala, and she's coming up. But they don't realize that this is a law that was initially passed from President Obama. And that when they're looking for a solution to close this wealth gap, the Jobs Act will close the wealth gap. It will do it. It'll provide enough financing for our small businesses in America to become big businesses. And it will create a way for our community to invest where they don't have the money to do so. So we're saying that this is a revolution. We are the only app right now on the App Store that allows you to invest with absolutely no money at all. And like I said, we've taken all the risk out because when you take money off the table, you take risk off the table. I want even the skeptics and all those that are sitting back and saying, I don't know if I should do it or not. I want them to say, well, what do you have to lose? And you have to remember every company in the Black Unicorn Factories in process is a company that is already pre-qualified to make it to the stock market. So it's not whether, when you're betting, when you're putting your money on a business, right? You're betting whether that business is going to make it to the stock market and pay you back. So when you buy a share of stock in a company, you're basically betting whether that company is going to make it to the finish line, which is Wall Street, so that you can get your money back. What has happened is that hurts my heart is that there are so many people selling stock in companies and they're never going to go to Wall Street. You'll never see a dime of your money. And to me, I'm surprised these people aren't on American greed because they're deliberately taking people's money and they know that they're never going to go public. One of the things about
Mm-mm-mm.
Black Unicorn Factory is we want you to know the difference between good and bad companies. Good companies are ones that are going public to get you back your money plus more. That's good companies. They're companies that have assets on their books, have revenue on their books before they came to you. Many of these ideas are just ideas. And they're just ideas, but you're not investing so much in an idea, you're investing in a company with the idea wrapped around it, right? But many of these companies that are selling stock, stop for a minute. Just stop it for a minute and do something for me. Before you put your money into these companies, look at the financial statements. Look at the financial statements. Many of these companies that are selling stock, their financial statements are all zeros. Yeah, Brother King?
Yes,
There's
sir.
nothing but zeros. And if the balance sheet is showing all zeros, that means that the company is worthless. And if the company is worthless, then what do you think the share of stock is worth?
Zero.
Do you think it's fair that a person should take his hard-earned money and should give it to you for your bright idea, and he should get a piece of paper that's worthless in exchange? Even the streets say the seventh rule of hustling says fair exchange is no robbery. Don't ever turn around and give somebody a piece of worthless paper for your cash that's worth money. That's not a fair exchange. My opinion is that if a company's not going public, don't you give them your money. And another reason why when people talk about companies, I'm just giving you an education today about a good company versus a bad company. Well, Not only do good companies at least make an attempt to go public and get you back your money, but one of the things that they also will do is that they will, like I said, in the very beginning, they make this point perfectly clear. A lot of the technology companies, listen to what I'm saying very carefully. Technology is a very tricky thing. And today, any technology that people come up with, you got the idea poachers and these counterfeiters and copycatters that are all out there waiting to steal your brilliant idea. You see, if you have an idea today that's a brilliant technology idea, well, people always say, Brother Stewart, yeah. Why are you looking at your watch every time I tell you about my brilliant idea? I said, well, you know why? Because you got 18 months before the copycatters and the idea poachers come. They're going to come, and believe me, any idea that's worthy of making money, they're out there looking for that company. And so we can't have a mentality of one revenue stream and put, as I talk many times to my classes, you have entrepreneurs that are what I call all your eggs in one basket entrepreneurs, that they're betting their whole financial future on one revenue stream. Well, when the counterfeiters come, what are you going to do? When the copycatters that stole your idea and one upped you, what are you going to do? This is why businesses that go public are not focused on one stream of revenue or one gadget. They're focused on multiple streams of revenue.
Right.
Multiple streams of revenue is how you survive as a business, because when the idea poachers come, and they will, you will have other streams of revenue to keep you afloat. And that is what we call a sustainable business model. So a lot of times I wrestle with my students because they're entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are always thinking about one stream of revenue, and that's dangerous. When you go public and become a public company, you have to learn multiple streams of revenue is the way that you survive. Because as I told my last class, and I talked to them and I said, hey, look, many of you in this class today have a Titanic mentality. And they looked at me and they're like, what do you mean Titanic? And I said, the Titanic thought that they would never sink.
That's right.
Where is it now? Many
At
of
the
you have
bottom of the
ideas
ocean.
and you're saying to yourself, nobody will ever come along and steal my idea. Well, you have a Titanic mentality because the thieves are out there and they're waiting for you to work the kinks out of your idea so that they can copycat you. And if that was the only idea you had that made revenue, well, that revenue stream is going to turn into a revenue drip. And then eventually it's going to turn dry. And then you're going to be completely out of business because you were, as mama said when I was a little boy, and I didn't understand. Mama used to say a lot of things. She said, baby, never put all your eggs in one
In
basket.
one basket, bro. She was
And
teaching
I didn't
business.
know what mama meant,
She was
but
teaching
I do
business, bro.
now. Yes, she was giving me a business lesson as a little boy. And these entrepreneurs, these all your eggs in one basket entrepreneurs, when you go public, get rid of that idea. It's time for when you go public, you're not going to just invest in one company, you're going to invest in many. And the reason why I'm saying this, I want to get a thought from Brother King. Uh, Many of these businesses today, Amazon, it's not just Amazon, it's 800 businesses behind Amazon. And Google is not just one business. Google is over 300 businesses. And when you're talking about Apple, Apple also is not just an Apple, it has over 1,600 businesses behind it. You see, they know you on the front side, it looks like it's a one operation business. But
Right.
behind that are many multiple streams of revenue because they know technology is being stolen rapidly every day. And if that happens to your business, what are you going to do? Well, and you have to anticipate disruption. And that's what they teach in technology. Anticipate disruption. Anticipate thieves. I'm sorry.
Basically.
That's one thing that I disagreed in college is because sometime in college they make it seem that oh, business is so sterile, business is so clean, the streets are so honest. And when you get out here in these streets, you'll find it's not that way. My teacher didn't tell me the truth. They didn't tell me that there's crooks out in those streets. There's thieves in those streets. There's people that are con artists in those streets.
That's right.
And so you have to be street smart. As Jay-Z said in his song, Brother King, he said that they say that I'm street smart and book smart, therefore they call me too smart. And one of the things about it, you have to have both. You need book smart or academic intelligence, but you're going to need street smart as well. And you have to understand that you cannot survive on one revenue stream. So I take entrepreneurs and I turn them into investment companies or what we call private equity companies. Because when you go public, you're going to become an investor. You have an investor's mentality. You're not out there trying to sell something, you're buying up everything. So
Yes,
it's a
sir.
very change. But here's the thing, many entrepreneurs we're talking to tonight, you have to understand, I know it's difficult to turn from entrepreneur into an investor and mentality, but it's possible. It's hard. It's about sometimes it's difficult, as I say, as trying to help a person that's right-handed use his left hand. It's uncomfortable and it's difficult, but it is possible. I want you to know. And so I want all of you to grow up and go beyond entrepreneurism. That's one of the things that has been our downfall, is because all we've been teaching is entrepreneurism. Now you're at an age where we have to go beyond entrepreneurism. That's where we're going. And we have to teach our community that, okay, you've learned how to be an entrepreneur, but now it's time to be beyond an entrepreneur and to be a publicly traded company. Yes,
Yes,
Brother King.
sir. Yes, sir. And one of the things I wanted to say was, this idea and this whole approach is why unity is so important, because if you are invested in a brand, in a social media influencer or a content creator, someone who has built a platform on social media, and through this model, the support that you have actually has the opportunity to turn into millions of dollars, even potentially billions of dollars, because your support online, whether it be through merch, whether it be through just the follow or the repost, now has given you equity in that brand. And because it has given you equity in that brand, now you are literally the ones behind pushing that company to where it needs to go in order for it to reach that public that IPO position. And then there's the liquidation process for everybody who has equity to be able to cash out. And you now have created new millionaires, new billionaires, as well as created and generated some finances for yourself. So it helps everybody out in this particular model. So I love this model, the way that it's laid out. Now, what we want to do, because people asking, Brother Stewart, what is the process in order for this to happen? Because Brother Ben did see his lovely report up here, and people are saying, okay, how do you start the process? So for someone
This
like
is it.
myself and
I
for
would give
Brother
it to you.
Ben, how do we get started?
It's very. Let's talk about how to get started.
Yes, sir.
You see, he is a business and a man in one right now. He's really what is called a sole proprietor. Most black businesses and of our community are sole proprietorships. You cannot sell a piece of a man. Slavery's over. We can't sell people. So you have to turn around and take the man and turn him into a corporation. The reason
Okay.
why we prefer corporations is because legally and lawfully, you can actually sell millions of pieces of a corporation. And so, therefore, we would take Brother Ben X and we would form a corporation with his brand's name. And by incorporating his brand name, he becomes what is called, what we refer to it as, an influencer corporation. From that particular point, through our app, Follow Me for Equity, we can allow then his fan base to easily using technology to download for the first time ever the stock in his company by downloading his app. So, but first we need him to be a corporation, and secondly, we need our app to be a part of it. We're going to app his corporation. So now electronically, technology is going to allow so many people to be a part and to invest in his company. But remember that not for free. This is not free. You have to make a commitment to support Brother Ben X's company, which is your company. And so you're not supporting something that you don't benefit from. If you help to support it, of course, the more support you give it, the more it benefits you and your stock. And
Right.
also, Brother Ben will, as I said, I'm just trying to, shorten things up and make it simpler. But from that point, he has enough people in his fan base. Now, I don't know, most people don't understand, may not understand this. Do you know how many people it takes to take his company public? 2,000 fans is all it takes. President Obama did that. When you look at his fan base, that man has
2,000
over a
fans.
million followers.
Right.
But all he needs is 2,000 of them to become a public company. Isn't that something? That therefore, Do I think he can make the stock market? Not do I think. It's an absolute. Because,
Guarantee.
but the thing is that we want to take you through the process. So I just wanted you to understand, one is it becoming a corporation, and two, letting technology, this app is going to onboard all of his fan base into that corporation where he and the fans now are partners. But technology, and the reason why there's going to be an overnight revolution of people becoming wealthy is because technology now that we have connected to a piece of equity is going to happen about as fast as companies going viral. So when you see videos going viral, you're going to see people's stock going viral. That they're
Wow.
going to be downloading stocks so fast from all over the world that you're going to create multi billion-dollar companies that have huge fan shareholder bases and that are making lots of money because they have a large crowd of supporters behind them. This new fan built companies that we're talking about is going to revolutionize business because they themselves are a recommendation engine as well. When they speak, they're going to speak in such large denominations that people will turn around and go, hey, he was recommended by millions. And so, also, brother Ben X may not realize there are companies that are out there that would say, hey, look, could you have your people tune into my channel tonight?
Right.
He can actually tell his crowd, hey, you guys, let's support this particular artist over here. And they because there's a benefit, because by helping that artist, they in turn will he will in turn get commercial endorsements, and they could also earn money from that commercial endorsement, all because Ben X utilized his crowd. What I'm talking about right now is crowd control. There's something that I want to say that's very powerful. I'd like you to see this, Brother King.
Yes, sir.
Check this out. A lot of content creators right now are working hard every night to try to come up with creative content for their audience. The problem that they have is that one day they're going to say, I got burnout, or I can't, I'm having a brain freeze and I can't come up with anything original. And so when you are a content creator, it's like a train that takes coal. You have to keep putting more and more
Yeah.
coal into the engine.
Yes, sir.
When you run out of coal, then the train will stop. And a lot of people turn around and will they'll just depart and go elsewhere because they're
Right.
there for the content. Now, they are dependent upon creative content. But Brother Ben X, his crowd is contract. See, the people that
Ah.
download that app is not just an app, it's a contract. And so when a person has a contract and they've agreed to it to support Brother Ben X, they might understand they have a fiduciary duty to support him. See, it's
Mm.
different. Having content is I might watch it, I may not. But having a fiduciary duty, a contract, very different. A contract is stronger than content. And a lot of these people right now that are coming up with content, Brother King, we don't really need it. We can ask our audience, our crowd, I want you to watch this show tonight, and our crowd will do it. They would love to have that type of control, and you'll find many shows on television lack audiences. I see the newspaper we have out here called the Press Telegram. In the back of the Press Telegram, it has all the shows that are on TV, how many people are watching a particular show. It has all the whole audience base. Many of these shows that you might find that are popular don't even have but 60, 70,000 people watching. They don't have a very big audience. You're like, wow, I didn't know that. But imagine Brother Ben X telling his followers, I want you to watch that show tonight. He could really change things for that viewer, for that particular project's viewership.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
why?
Boost it
If
up
you
for real.
ask them on content, remember, people run out of. I just had as a joke, somebody had a magic, like a podcast doing magic, and a guy was using his cell phone and showing you different 29 tricks that he had, right?
Right.
On that you can use your phone and do 29 different magic tricks. Well, he showed on his show all 29 tricks, and he didn't have a 30th trick. He lost all of his viewers because he ran out of content.
Wow.
And that's one of the right now we're in a content war. Those social media followers that are following artists right now, many of the artists right now lost huge amounts of capital when technology took the money from the record stores. When they took records and tapes and CDs away, large amounts of money was lost to that entertainment community. So therefore, now they're out here trying to do concerts and clothes to try to make money and things like that.
Nah,
What you can
constantly
do
being
right
on tour.
now, yes, yes, and the one thing you can do right now, if you convert your crowd, you can retire from concerts.
That's a
You can.
fact.
I've never seen very many billionaires on stage rapping and singing songs, but there might be, because if that's what you love to do, then you're going to continue doing what you love. But when you don't have to do it for money, and many artists are doing it for money, because why? You got to do billions of streams to turn around and make some real serious money here. But right now, if you just convert your crowd, that won't happen anymore.
Yeah.
This is a new reality, and I intend to push the line to let them know this could be you. That's why what's on the front of that magazine is you show them different pictures.
Yes, sir.
This could be you, influencer. And you have to remember, a lot of influencers, they come from different walks of life. We have right now the NIL, name, image, and
And
likeness.
likeness.
They just passed that. A lot of college athletes are out there right now, and they have enough fans to buy themselves a new home, to buy themselves that start that new business. It's right there in their fan base. And the NIL law says that they can use their social media. But see, everybody is thinking about the number one guy in college and things like that. But you don't realize we got high schoolers with 100,000 followers. We got junior college athletes that have 500,000 followers. We have Division 1, 2, and 3 athletes right now that have that. And I know we're thinking about football and basketball, but what about baseball and swimming and gymnastics? And they too, and golf and tennis, and they too, while in college, have huge amounts of fans and followers. And because they have this while they're in college, nobody said you had to wait till after college to convert your fans. Why don't you, as while you're in college, convert your fan base right now?
Yes,
No
sir.
financial aid is necessary at that point. You can retire your financial aid, pay for your college fully off your fan base.
Wow.
That's what I want to see. So I want them to know just that. Yes, Brother King.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, man, that is powerful information, and it talk. The attention economy and human capital is essentially what this is, and you don't have anything without human capital, and that's how important network fan bases platforms are. So, yeah, just wanted to thank you, brother Johnny. Man,
Thank you.
yes, sir. Thank you for this powerful conversation tonight. And is there anything you would like to share with the family as we get ready to
Well,
close out in these
yes, I'd
four
like them to
minutes?
tune in next week as we discuss NIL. We're going to show an entire nation of thousands and hundreds of thousands of athletes how they too can turn around and become a social media millionaire and billionaire through NIL. And so get ready. You're about to see a lot of them that will not make it to the pros, but it won't stop them from being rich. And so
Yeah.
therefore, you can be rich without going to the pros. I
Yes,
just want you
sir.
to know that.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
we'll talk about that next week.
Next week, family. So listen, y'all, you heard that. Next week we're going to be discussing the NIL and how you able to convert that fan base. So this is really groundbreaking information for those of us who have some type of influence or platform, and have built up supporters that support your brand, the content that you put out, the information that you put out, and things like that. And that's why it's important to be careful and to not take these platforms for granted because of the power that's behind them. So I appreciate brother Johnny Stewart again for coming with us this Tuesday, breaking all of this down. Make sure you all get with us next week. For those who may not be a part of our community, it's scrolling at the bottom. You can text the word STC Podcast to 888-294-2793. Again, the word is STC Podcast to 888-294-2793. And that's how you become a part of our text community, so that you can receive text updates. You can receive exclusive access, all of those different things. So we building up, family. So let's go ahead. Let's get 100 people into the text community tonight. if we can, we want to do that. We need 2 people to go ahead and sign up and get onto the text community. So we got about 79 people live. So we need all of you all 79 of y'all, to get on the text community. And if you already on the text thread, then I need you to send it out to somebody else and tell them get on so they can be a part of the Shifting the Culture podcast family. Is scrolling across the bottom. So, man, tonight was action-packed and filled with a lot of information. Sister Alexia said, great information tonight. And he said, why not use your fan base to get this? Yeah, absolutely. This is what I'm saying, bro. We trying to do that. So, that's the whole purpose of what we're doing with with building our community and all of those different type of things. So we asking people to take initiative now, because we're not asking you for no money. We asking you to take initiative. Take that thing right here called your phone. Take this phone and follow and support and retweet and send out, get somebody else involved so that we can get the amount of supporters and engagers and engagement up on the platform. All right, family. So listen, we appreciate you again for coming through tonight, rocking with us as always. Always a beautiful time with the Shifting the Culture family. Again, we'll see you all back here, same time, same place, same black conversation. This is Shifting the Culture, and this is your brother, King Cam. Peace.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a guy out the hood. They can't downplay me. I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting